Hi, boys and girls. Hope you guys are doing okay. This is going to be another short lesson. We are starting today on geometric and freeform shapes. The last time we were here, and I talked a little bit about perception drawing, and you learned a little bit about contour drawing. So to continue on that, we're going to learn about geometric and freeform shapes, and then at the end, you'll have an activity to do with what you've learned. So let's go ahead and go to... Oops, I think I went the wrong one. Pardon me. That was last week. Okay. Good grief. Geometric and freeform shapes. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, so lesson 3, geometric and freeform shapes. Lesson 3 introduces the element of geometric and freeform shapes. So we're going to learn about geometric and freeform shapes. Geometric shapes can be described with mathematical formulas. Yes, math. And freeform shapes are uneven and irregular shapes. They're often described as shapes found in nature.
When you look at an object, what do you see first, the shape or the object?
Cuando miran un objeto, ¿qué observan primero? ¿La figura o el objeto?
Okay, let's look at our objectives today. Our objective today is you're going to learn how to identify the function of geometric and freeform shapes in art. You're going to demonstrate the knowledge of the two artists. So you're going to learn about an artist, George Braque and Paul Cézanne. And for your activity this week, you will be creating a still life drawing or painting, and you're going to be using what we've learned, geometric and freeform shapes. You could do it in a computer paint program if you want to. And at the end, you should be able to evaluate your work using the 4 steps of art criticism. So let's check out our music selection that goes with this lesson. Sing, 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 Louis Prima. In music, shape can pertain to the contour of higher and lower movement in a melodic line. We're going to play Louis Prima's Sing, 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 and you're going to think about complex geometric shapes. And then if we were in class, we would discuss shapes and shapes that might fit with the music. So I just kind of want you to listen, since we're not in class, kind of listen and kind of think of some shapes that might go with this song, if you were to think of shapes as being musical notes. What a cute selection. So we're going to look at some artwork on these pages. The first one is an artist named George Brock, and it's still life on red tablecloth. And the other one is by an artist named Paul Cezanne, still life with a basket of apples. So let's look at the works on these pages, and we're going to look at how they've arranged the paintings. The viewer sees the table arrangement from one point of view, right? So George Brock's still life on a red tablecloth gives the viewer a chance to see the scene from many points of view. And then the other one, it's from one point of view. I'm sure you're kind of confused, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Both works of art have geometric shapes and freeforms. So they're both still lifes. Still life meaning anything, an object, something in your house that sits still. And, just an object or a knickknack in your house, a bowl of fruit or something. So both are still lifes. So those are similar in those ways, but they're two different styles. If you look around your house, if you take a book and you turn it in your hands, how many shapes can you see if you look at it from different angles, from different views, not just one? Which of these still life works is an abstract art? And remember, abstract is a style of, or when you take something and you change it so that it doesn't look real. You can still recognize what it is, but it doesn't look like a photograph. So which one of these two is abstract, do you think? This doesn't exactly look real, but if you had to ask about the two, this one looks more abstract than those. Which of these still life works is an abstract? We said that one. So we study both to find various shapes of artwork. Where do you see geometric shapes in these works? Let's zoom in. So this was painted in 1936, and this style is called like a cubist. And if you look at this, where can we find geometric shapes? Pretty much all over this picture, huh? And he's taken it and he's changed it so everything is abstracted, which means it looks different. It's even hard to tell what it is, but you see a lot of geometric shapes on here. You see a bunch of stuff on a table. So if you look at this, a still life on a red table has circles, and on the front of the table, it's got a pattern that moves from the center of one side of the painting to the other. And there's objects on the table, and there's in the upper center of the painting, there are triangles. In the front of the table, in the upper left-hand section, there are diamonds with rectangles. And on the purple section, you'll see purple section of the table, left side of the painting, in still life over here, okay, and the basket of apples are circles, the basket, the plate, and the triangles, section of the tablecloth towards the front, the block underneath the basket, right there, that's a rectangle, and then you have the tables and you have the napkins. So those are some shapes, geometric shapes that you would find. Which have freeform shapes. Remember we said freeform shapes are shapes that are not geometric. Anything that's not classified as a geometric and it kind of looks like a natural form or like a blob. So on this still life with a table, the legs, that's not a rectangle, a square, or a triangle. The legs are freeform. The shape on the lower stack of the cookies, there's cookies on the table? Okay, I guess these are stack of cookies. They're like freeform shapes. And then the lower left side of the table and the design and the front of it, all these things right here are like freeform shapes, okay? Freeform shapes. And still life with a basket of apples. Oh, we're talking about these cookies, okay? Because I was like, what stack of cookies? So the stack of cookies on this table is like freeform. And then the napkin on here, pardon me. Okay, so point to the solid shapes made with color and those created with outlines. So if we look at shapes right here, these are shapes that are outlined, and they're in both paintings. Here's a shape that's outlined, So you have a lot of shapes that are outlined with just color. You can't really see the line. You can just see that they're colors and it outlines things. Using geometric and freeform shapes. Okay, let's go over shapes. And we've been learning about this since kindergarten, so this is a refresher. Shapes are 2D, two-dimensional, and that means like 2D. Dimensional means you can see it from different angles. Shapes are 2D, and you can measure them in math you can measure the height, how tall it is, and you can measure how wide it is. A shape can have an outline or a boundary around it, or it can be solid like a shadow. Geometric and freeform are two kinds of shapes. Geometric shapes are shapes that can be described in mathematical formulas, and they have names. The three basic geometric shapes are square, circle, and a triangle. When you combine these shapes together, you create complex geometric shapes, such as these below. So you take like triangles and you put them together. If I divide right here, these are made up of what? Two triangles makes a parallelogram. Trapezoids, if you take a line here and you put a line here, those are three triangles. One this way, and one down. And then you can divide these up too. Same thing, all of these are made out of triangles. So they're complex geometrical shapes when it's a shape that can be made up of different triangles put together.
How can you create complex geometric shapes?
¿Cómo se pueden crear figuras geométricas complejas?
So, and then we were talking about freeform, refreshing your memory on freeform. Freeform are uneven and irregular, which means not regular. They can be made with curved lines, straight lines, a combination of the two, and they are found most often in nature.
How can you create complex geometric shapes?
So, if you were to create complex geometric shapes, you could cut out some basic shapes. You could cut out circles, squares, triangles from paper. You could also just draw them on paper. You can experiment with the cutout shapes to create complex geometric shapes. You can cut out a bunch of triangles and make sure that they're all the same size and see how you can arrange them into like a parallelogram, or see how many you can make to try to make an octagon or a pentagon. Just, kind of play around with them. So here is an artist that created this painting, Sarah Parsons. She's 11. Think about how she created this mood with shapes. How can you create a still life by using your computer as a drawing tool? Or you can just do it with your pencil, or you can do it with your crayons. It doesn't have to be done on the computer, but if you do have like a paint program on the computer, that would be kind of cool. You could get some practice doing that too. Think about the objects that you might enjoy drawing. Select 5 or more different sizes and shapes. Arrange the still life and look for shape, color, and line. So find 5 or more different size objects in your house and then arrange them and maybe put it on a table in front of you. Make sure they're not all the same size. You have some different heights. And then you can use your computer, or you can use your paints, or you can use your drawings, and you're going to practice drawing what you see on that table, like you saw on the fruit baskets and stuff like that. And then save your finished product, and then you can color it in. Here's an example of what someone's doing. If they're basically, see how she's taken objects in her room, she's arranged them, and then she's practicing to draw the arrangement on the table. When you do these drawings, you really want just to do the outline of it first. Do the outline of it first. Get the basic shape and the layout, and then once you've got the outline, you can go in and you can put the details into it. You could totally do that too. When you're done, what objects did you draw? How did you use the lines and colors to create the shapes? Is your work calm or exciting? And were you able to use a variety of shapes in your still life that you arranged? I mean, it could be totally anything
How do you explain the difference
in your
between
house.
geometric and
Food,
freeform shapes?
action figures, anything that you might just put together and just see, practice your drawing and see if you can draw what you see.
¿Cómo explicarían la diferencia entre las figuras geométricas y las abstractas?
All right. So this was pretty short and sweet, like I promised. So you've completed lesson 3. And what we'll do is the next time I upload a lesson, it will be lesson 4. And I hope that you have a nice evening. And make sure that you check in with Coach Mars or your PE, music, and all your other resources. And make sure that you're doing your lessons with them. And it should only be done once a week. It says every day, but what they mean by every day for 20 minutes is basically, try to keep your regular schedule. So if you have art on, let's say, 10 o'clock on a Tuesday or on a Tuesday, then you would have art. If you have PE on a Wednesday, then, run on over to the PE section and do that. Try to keep it as normal as possible. You do not have to do these every day. Just go ahead and keep your regular schedule. And I will talk to you later on. I hope you are well. Stay safe, guys.